we didn't know we were going to survive through the month of May in 1970, let alone whether we were going to get to 1980. And, you know, here we are in 2008, and the lobby exists as a lobbying group, and exists as the foundation, exists as an educational arm and a supportive arm, and they have young women interns that work here and everything. It is unbelievable to me, 30 years later, that this institution still exists and that it's part of the fiber of supporting these important issues, and it can be counted on. The first women's lobby lobbyist, I couldn't imagine what that might be like. I couldn't imagine why I wanted to do it. I couldn't imagine how to even approach that. And I know that the reason I took the job was because I respected the women that were on the board. After meeting everyone, I kind of got infected, and I kind of caught on, and then I thought, well, I can do this. I can give this a try, and I had no idea what I was getting into. At that stage, the legislature was truly mostly a men's club. People did smoke on the floor of the legislature. Decisions were made in back rooms that nobody knew about. They weren't public. The process was not transparent. I mean, the public part of the process was transparent, the votes, the issues, and all that. But the deals that were made on, especially on funding issues, were all made in a back room, and they were smoke-filled, literally. There was the obvious process, and then there was the sub-process. They would make these decisions about when to hold these, quote, public meetings at the last minute, and, you know, you had to be there all the time. And so just being a woman lobbyist was in and of itself a phenomenon. And then we were going to come up there to advance women's issues, of which most everyone that I talked with didn't understand what was a women's issue. The concept wasn't even credible, that there would be women's issues. So starting out with that, which is so fundamental and incomprehensible to most people today, was that yes, there are issues that impact women uniquely, was probably the biggest hurdle we had to overcome. It was very difficult to get credit on your own if you were a married woman. It was very difficult to get the police to come to your home if you were married and you called up and said that your husband was beating you. We decided at the end of the session to put out a ranking on members of the Senate and the House on how they did on some fairly significant issues. And we did a report card, and we decided, well, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it with vigor. And we had a press conference. And some of the press actually showed up, which we weren't even sure if the press would show up. And talk about causing a stir. Nobody wanted to be identified as against women. It was an interesting time. And I think what I brought to the process was a tenacity of working the system, saying, you know, you can't get rid of me. Maine was very fortunate that it had so many bright, committed, interested and interesting women. It was kind of a perfect storm in the positive kind of way. A small group of very committed people who had a huge impact. And I hope that the 30th anniversary of the lobby will recognize those people, will thank them and congratulate them, because I think the fact that the lobby is here today and is as viable as it is because of that group of people. And I want to thank them for having confidence in me, and thank them for being there and being supportive, and thank them for staying involved so we still have this wonderful policy and lobbying organization that exists. So I'm grateful that it's still here. I was honored to be the first women's lobbyist. That was an incredible opportunity that I was given. I had a lot of bad days thinking that that was the wrong choice, or we were going to get nowhere, or this wasn't going to continue. But for me personally, the fact that it still exists and I had the opportunity to be the first women's lobbyist, it had the experiences I had working with the lobby. Those and my experiences as a civil libertarian have formed the foundation of my personal values. It was an enormous privilege to be the first women's lobbyist, and the support and opportunity that I had has remained a part of me through the last 30 years. And so I congratulate the Women's Lobby on surviving. Thank God all those women that have come and will still come in the next 30 years are willing to support these issues, give up their time and energy, get the point, and be very effective in influencing public policy and the legislative agenda.